We need to talk about old people's clothes here. Yeah, that's right. Old people's clothes. I really need to know something about this. At what age do old people just stop buying new clothes? I mean, you look at an old person that's up in age, beyond their 60s, 70s. Most of them got clothes that you can tell hadn't been updated in 15, 20 years. I mean, especially Pentecostal church people and factory workers. These two groups of people never update their clothing after, I think the factory worker stops buying clothes at probably 40, 45. That's when the gut has usually about stretched, probably about as far as it's going to stretch before retirement. At retirement, I think you'll get another gut widening. But I think between 25 and 40, during your active life, your gut is at 40 or so, your gut's about as big as it's going to get. And then from about 40 to, 60, 65, whenever you retire, I think there's a stretch in there that's, pretty solid. And I'm telling you, people do not buy clothes after that time for some reason. Now, the office worker, he'll buy new clothes, to look presentable in the office. The salesman, same way. But the factory worker, after about the age of 40, I don't think he buys any new clothes. If you don't work around factory workers, or if you're not around factory workers, you don't necessarily know what I'm talking about. But I'm around factory workers, and you can tell some of these guys got the same old clothes they had, in 1984. They hadn't bought a new stitch of clothing since 1984. And then the Pentecostal church people. How come is it that the old Pentecostal church people, they just don't buy any new clothes, any new church clothes? You see them out at Cracker Barrel or somewhere like that, where a lot of old white folks congregate, and you just see them coming in and out of there. They got an old plaid suit on that's like all plaid. Their tie's like got a knot in it, like this big. Either that, or they got one in there that's like this big on the tie, and it's just straight down. The tie's about this wide at its widest point. Or they've got one of those old, like, felt-looking ties that's, like, big, like this huge, and the widest point, it gets, like, this wide, and it looks like one of those silly ties, I just don't know how the old people determine at what age they're going to quit buying clothes. I mean, when do they stop caring, about what they wear? I mean, I didn't care what I wore for a long time, and I was, in my 20s. But still, I didn't go 15 years without an update. I mean, come on. Let's get in there. Let's get, you old people, you can get some new clothes every once in a while. It's not going to kill you. Old people are at the height of their earnings. They're more well off financially, usually. The longer you work, etc. Go and get a new set of clothes, buddy. It ain't gonna hurt you. It won't hurt you. Your wife might even like it. So if anybody knows how to tell, I'm not trying to make any old people get clothes that don't want to get new clothes. Don't get me wrong. If they're happy in those same old clothes with like paisleys and stuff on them and stuff, hey, more power to them. I'm glad they're happy. But I just want to know how it's determined, and like what is the universally accepted age where you just don't buy any clothes anymore. I'm just curious about that. I'm very curious about that, why that is.